Jeannie,
Hi,
thank you for joining
Dan.
us.
Jen.
Jen, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Jen.
Yes, in the early 1800s, the late 1800s, there was a hotel here which was bulldozed down to build the Strand. The opening day of the Strand was September 22nd, 1919. Yes, when I first got the keys for the Strands, I noticed on my iPad some orbs that were traveling diagonally across this room. At first, I didn't pay too much of a thing about it. I had a friend come over a few weeks later just to see if it really was an orb or if it was dust. He told me it was just dust. Before he told me that, I would talk to whoever was in here, and things started happening with the Strand. After he told me it was just dust, I stopped saying goodnight, I stopped talking, and things stopped happening, things at the Strand. I was no more getting any phone calls, people weren't coming in to see me. After the first investigators came here, they told me a little bit more history about the Strand, and they said the entity up in the small room, his name was Phil, and that he fell out of a window. Once I heard that, I started communicating again at night, and when I came in the next day, and things started happening with the Strand again. So I started getting more phone calls, people started coming in and being excited about the Strand. Once in a while, when I'm up on the third floor, I get some anxieties. Often, when I go below the stage, I go under there to do some wiring, to do whatever we need to do. I feel strong anxieties under there. Once I've heard a dog barking in the basement. Other things that happen, there's lights coming on while I'm not here. So when I leave at night, I make sure all lights are off. Come back in the next day, the lights are on. Sometimes half the lights are on in this room, and I only have one switch that turns all the lights on and all the lights off. So that's pretty interesting.
In 1997, when this theater was showing first run movies. I was here watching Titanic with a friend, and I felt somebody, behind me, and I happened to look real fast, and there was a lady, hunched over, sort of either looking for her seat or looking for someone else, and she startled me, and I looked at my friend, and I asked her, I said, what is that lady doing? And she looked behind me, and just like that, she was gone. And I sat up in my seat, and I looked around, and you can see when somebody comes in and out of the door, the door makes a loud bang noise, or you could see the light from the hallway. None of that. And I looked to the left to see if she went around and came in the other door, and nothing. She wasn't walking down the aisle, and when the lights came on and the movie was over, there was nobody here. She was about my height, she had long, dark hair, but I couldn't really see any, facial features, but, she was definitely there. She startled me.
Wow. Yeah, I can understand that, how that might be startling.
Yeah, I currently have volunteers that help me out, and Nicole should be writing things down for you for her own word. Nate, her boyfriend, when he went downstairs, this is just a few weeks ago, he heard something. He won't tell us what it is or what was said, but he does not want to go back down there. I've heard some stories from other people that was saying, former employees, they saw a woman in the projection room. Someone here just last week said when they were downstairs in the basement when they worked here, they heard a voice saying, "I'm going to kill you." So when I messaged Nate if that was said, he denied it. So he said that's not what was said, but he still won't tell us what was said. That's the only one thing that I've heard about anything being said downstairs, that one person said that. Paul is the owner of the restaurant, which is still here. And when he first opened the restaurant, he could hear running up and down the aisleway in the small theater, which is directly above his above his restaurant. He asked me later that day if I was there earlier, and I was not here. There was twice the gas was turned back on while he was gone. So his procedures is when he closes on Sundays, he turns the pilot light off and the pilot switch off and blows the pilot light so there's no accidents with leaking gas. Twice he came in on Wednesday and the pilot valve was turned back on and the pilot light was off. After the second time, I talked to Phil and asked him if that was him that was opening the valve not to do that anymore, because if this place blew up, he'd have no place to be. And if it wasn't him, if you'd please make sure it doesn't get turned back on or stop anybody else from doing it. And it hasn't happened since, and it's been about 1.5 years since that happened. He helps protect my place for me. And I really believe that too. So I asked him, I said, make sure this place is safe, and so this we can continue having people come in here and enjoy themselves. And so far,
Great. Well, thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
thank you.
That camera sounds like it's shut off.
What shut off?
That camera back there. Yeah, it did.
No to boy. No to girl. Can you? Can you please light up the other one just so we can